BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street are not some sort of evil group that runs the world. Yes, they are the largest shareholders in 88% of S&P 500 companies, according to the Harvard Business Review. And sure, you can find clips of BlackRock's CEO, Larry Fink, saying some pretty radical things. I'm definitely not trying to defend him here. But the idea that they're the most powerful cartel in human history is based on a fundamental misunderstanding of how investing works. And since I created this channel to teach you how to invest, I'm going to show you what people who believe this, like Vivek Ramaswamy, aka the Indian Trump, are missing when they make these crazy statements. So the basic idea that they own 88% of the companies in the S&P 500, so they have all this control and they use that control to pursue their evil agendas, is wrong on all three levels. Let's start with the part about them owning 88% of the companies in the S&P 500. This is one place where the reality is nothing like what it seems. So if you Google who the top shareholders of any company are, let's use Google, aka Alphabet, as an example, you'll usually see all three of these companies near the top. However, that is not their money. If you see Jeff Bezos at the top of the list for Amazon, it's his money. But BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street are asset managers. They just invest on behalf of their clients. And their clients, the people who invest in the Vanguard or iShares mutual funds and ETFs, are the people who actually own the companies. So in most cases, the asset managers, like BlackRock, don't actually own any shares of other companies. Now, some might say, sure, but they still decide how to vote with all those shares, so they still control these companies. They'll point to things like BlackRock getting 3 people elected to ExxonMobil's board of directors to promote environmentally friendly policies as signs of their influence. But this notion of their control and influence is incorrect for 3 reasons. First, even if they could invest all their shares to promote their agendas, they always own minority stakes in these companies. Usually it's like 5 or 10%. That means that the only way to get someone they want on the board is for many other shareholders to also vote for the same people. People always give the one Exxon example to show how much influence they have, but they fail to consider the thousands of times the things they voted for didn't happen. So do their votes matter? Yes. Do they have some influence? Yes. Do they control the world? Not even close. And on that note, if you actually want to know who controls the world, it's my girlfriend. Video over. Thanks for watching. The second reason they don't have as much power as you think is that other than voting on proxies and boards of directors, what gives large shareholders power over companies is the ability to say, if you don't do what I say, I'm going to sell all my shares and drive your stock price into the ground. But the vast majority of BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street's assets are managed passively, meaning they track an index. So what that means is they don't even decide which companies they invest in, and they can't sell out for any reason, even if they want to. They have no power or influence. The indexes are controlled by companies like S&P, FTSE, and MSCI. They are the ones who decide which companies the passive asset managers like BlackRock invest in. And with Vanguard, even in their actively managed stock funds, they are not the ones managing them. They outsource the management to other companies like Wellington and PrimeCap. The third reason these companies don't have as much control as advertised is that they're not even the ones voting a lot of the time. Both BlackRock and Vanguard have started allowing more individual shareholders to vote their proxies. And even when the company does vote on behalf of the shareholders, they usually just pay a third-party company to do the research and tell them what to vote on. Last but not least, are BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street really using all their control to promote their evil woke agendas? You could certainly come to that conclusion from this clip.
That's an investment criteria for you.
Well, behaviors are going to have to change, and this is one thing we're asking companies. You have to force behaviors, and at BlackRock, we are forcing behaviors.
But the reality is, these companies don't give a crap about ESG. 2 years after that interview, The Guardian put out an article saying that BlackRock and Vanguard had failed to live up to their pledges to support climate action at energy firms. This is why everyone hates BlackRock and Larry Fink. He says stuff that pisses off the right and then doesn't even do it, which then pisses off the left. The reality is that he was simply pandering to an audience like any politician. And to be clear, I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying that he's not trying to push a woke ESG agenda. These are huge financial institutions, and their only agenda is to make money. After public opinion started to shift back against ESG and wokeism, the New York Post reported that BlackRock had scaled back their support for those proposals from 47% in 2021 to only 7% in 2023. And now, Larry Fink won't even say the term ESG. All right, let's recap the 3 main points. No, Vanguard, BlackRock, and State Street are not an evil cartel. They don't actually own any shares in most companies. They just invest in those companies on behalf of investors who are the real owners. They also don't have much influence or control because they don't even decide which companies to invest in most of the time. The vast majority of their assets are passive and they just blindly follow the indexes, which are run by companies like S&P, FTSE, and MSCI. That means they do not have that much influence over these companies because they can't sell out, even if they want to. And last but not least, they don't really have a woke agenda or any agenda except to make money. They might say one thing one day and say the opposite thing the next day. They may say they support ESG, but at the same time, they're the largest investors in all the oil companies and gun manufacturers. Why? Because they don't care and don't actually have the power to force companies to do anything. If you have any questions, you can join my free Discord, link below in the description. Thanks for watching.